Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the Shoot the Ship podcast.
I'm Dilshan.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we're doing this podcast from self-isolation, so we're not together, so it's going to be a little confusing.
Yeah, it might be some audio issues. Hopefully not. We're going to try and minimize that. But yeah, we're actually like 4 hours apart right now.
Are we 4 hours apart?
I think so. You're still like in Toronto now, right?
Well, I am in Toronto, but where are you at?
I'm in Windsor.
Bruh.
What are you talking about?
I can smell you.
Oh my god. So everybody, just disclaimer, Muhammad made a soundboard, so you're going to probably be hearing a lot of that.
Well, I don't share my secrets like that.
It's going to be like national anthems all over again. Oh my god. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, man.
This is going to be like the national anthems in the last one.
Oh, man. No, that's got to stop.
Yeah, leave that there forever. We're... sorry, what were you going to say?
This is weird. But, I was just going to say... welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening to the first couple episodes. Thanks for tuning on this one. It's going crazy out there with the coronavirus, and it's gotten a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. To be honest.
Yeah, I was like low-key kind of like chilling for a while. It's like, I'll just wash my hands and like whatever, it'll be fine. But then it started progressing so fast. And then now we're literally like self-isolating in our homes, and I haven't left my house in a while.
Is that any different? I'm finding I feel like the option of going out is gone, so I'm sad. But I don't know how much different my life is, to be honest, right now.
I think not having the option makes it feel worse, even though. If I was back at school and things are normal, I probably would stay in more often than go out. But I like the freedom of being able to, go grab a coffee or go to a restaurant or study on campus or hang out with friends whenever. Now I'm just sitting in my room. We started our online med school, so that's interesting. I started.
I'm still, yeah.
You're still on March break.
Yeah. Speaking of that, how was your March break? I guess with the whole COVID situation going,
it was good. I was just relaxing, and honestly, maybe this is not the best thing for a med student to do, but it's kind of avoiding reading too much about COVID stuff. Even in emails, I got a lot of emails because from faculty just sending us all this stuff, and then also. I'm at student council, and there's a whole bunch of emails coming from all those communities. So I was literally just skimming through, and I was only reading the stuff that was immediately relevant to me, or flagging them for later. But I was trying to minimize my exposure to what I was reading.
Yeah, and it's all over the place, and I don't want to even talk about it too much here, because it's all you open the news, that's all you see. You open up the mail, that's all you see. You see doorways, that's all you see. So I guess I really want to say, first and foremost, thanks to everybody out there that's doing their part. From the healthcare workers, everybody in the healthcare workers that's out there, everybody helping out the healthcare workers out there, everybody that's actually isolating and staying home.
Stay home.
Everyone.
Please, if you're not staying home, stay home. And if you are staying home, good job.
Yeah, stay home. Go out for a walk. Do things, but just don't be around others or go to places where you're touching things, etc. Right?
Yeah.
But go for a walk. Be healthy.
Yeah, get some air, but don't go to a club or have a party. Or, I don't know. No, but for real, another shout out too is there's a lot of med students that are helping out the healthcare professionals as well. I'm seeing on the socials that they're babysitting, they're doing grocery runs.
Your life could do a bit of a makeover.
Yeah, what is this?
What was that?
I don't even know.
So that's a soundboard. You're gonna be hearing a lot of random sounds everywhere. Some might make sense, some may not make sense. That's okay. We just shoot the ship.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just shouting out the med students because they're like babysitting and they're like doing grocery runs and like pet sitting and all this stuff, so that taking some of the burden off of healthcare professionals, so that they can do their thing on the front lines and try to contain this thing as much as we can.
Yeah, man, everybody, good job. Really, really good job.
Yeah.
But yeah, now the situation's tough, so I don't want to make too many jokes about it or anything. I actually have a family member that's in the UK that's in the ICU.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, he's a doctor over there. And yeah, his son got it and he got it. And the situation's pretty bad. He's an older guy. He has diabetes. I think it's well treated, but he's now in the ICU and I think he's still there.
Man.
Yeah, no, the situation is really serious. So I'm just hoping it never reaches Sudan further than 2.
Yeah.
Places that really don't have healthcare systems that can tackle
That's true.
it, right?
Even we're struggling out here already with the resources. Look at Italy, like I don't even know what they're doing right now. Like,
oh no, man, it's yeah.
But
There's a lot of things now that's changed. So like you said, we started school, right? So we're all online. And I guess one thing a lot of us did was meet up for CPL. Maybe it didn't. Maybe we meet up for a lot of people are working from home. And there's a lot of there's been a lot of funny stuff out there actually. So I don't think you've heard this one, Dilshan. So I want to play this for you. This one is during a coronavirus meeting. I think this was in Texas. There was a mayor that had to excuse himself to go to the washroom.
okay.
Now, like all of us, it happens. You sometimes forget to turn off your mic or turn off your camera, whatever. So have a listen at this one here.
I'll try and keep this brief. I won't belabor all the details. I'm sure most of you remember Mr. Guest's presentation from last time, and I imagine he's going to hit some of the highlights here in a minute. But the thing is that these deadly infections, there's something we can do about it. And what we can do is call on government that are higher up the chain of...
Is that real?
It's real, man. I'm watching the video. I saw the mayor get up.
Oh my God.
And ask for action at the federal level. I am aware of Mr. Brainerd's concerns that he raised last time, and there would be instances where I actually agree.
This is too much.
Action local.
There's one that I know it's a podcast, so there's one thing I can show you as a video. There's one where it's there's a Zoom conference or whatever, and one girl gets up, goes to the washroom in the middle of it. It's on Instagram. It's been popping around everywhere. But see that's not as embarrassing as when you actually physically or there's audio to it.
Oh man. No, I'm just trying to think too, like what do you I'm trying to think of that, like was it like a news, not a news anchor, but like the lady who was speaking, like what do you do in that situation? Like do you keep going? It's like a lose-lose almost. Like you're trying to like get through this very serious meeting about like a international crisis, and then you keep hearing these sounds in the background at really odd moments. It's like they gave you a soundboard, but it only had like farts, and you're just like going at it.
I honestly think the best thing to do is just continue as though nothing happened, because at some point it plays with you, right? At some point you're like, wait, did that actually happen? Am I dreaming?
And then the guy's gonna come back though, and
the lady kind of laughed in the video too. She's in the middle, she's like trying to say something, and then
Higher up the chain.
No, man, that's embarrassing. I it's a human thing. It happens. All of us. It happens to all of us. But man,
wow, that actually reminds me. It's not relevant at all to COVID stuff, but this clip reminded me of something. So back in when I was younger, I took karate like way back in the day, and the class is basically structured like you have a little formal lineup at the beginning, do some warm ups or whatever, and then you split off and practice like whatever it's called katas, but like whatever, it's like a sequence of moves basically, and you have to perform those for your at tournaments, right, to get your next belt. But yes, you're practicing those, and then all of a sudden I just took a break for a second, and I look on the ground, and I kid you not, I literally see a turd
Wait, from you?
No. It's like I'm in a gymnasium, a YMCA. I see a literal like turd on the ground in the gym. And I'm like,
Yo.
why is there like?
What?
I was so confused. Like, one, like, how did no one see who did this? Like, how is no one aware of this?
Nothing into like that humor, but was it like a clean cut?
It was like, it was a clean cut, you know. It was a clean cut.
Yeah, how old were you?
Oh, this is pre grade 5 for sure. Like, I was like, oh man, like I was like, how do you get away with that? And then afterwards, like eventually I guess someone told the sensei, or like somehow they found out, and then like she lined us all up again, and she's like, all right, who did this? We're gonna stand here until someone comes forward and and like I guess claims their poop. Like,
no one's gonna claim it.
The guy claimed it actually.
Did he cry?
No, he's just like, oh, that was me. Like, I don't know what he said. He like said he couldn't make it to the washroom or something. But like, but dude, the thing is, like, there's literally a washroom on the same floor. Like, if he walked for like 30 seconds out of the gym, there's a washroom right there. But no, he like somehow, like, I'm still dumbfounded as to how he did this. He got his pants down, like pooped on the ground, pulled it back up, and then proceeded like as if nothing happened, and no one like knew it was him until he came forward, and then he had to clean it up.
Yo, how do you have the audacity to do that? Like, I get it, you gotta go to the washroom, but the washroom's right there.
Yeah, it was like,
how can't you make it to the washroom? Especially like you said, it's a clean cut. That means, you know, it's not like
this man had like the perfect amount of fiber in his diet. I'm sure, like, it was clean.
Oh no! Oh my god! But yeah, it's like those ones. It's like, you know, your body just tells you got 10 seconds. It's now or never.
Exactly. You got to make it's a on the spot decision. Like how do I want to optimize this time right now? Like, do I want to take the gamble and book it to the washroom, or do I just, you know, right here, right now, own it, you know, and do me and not look back?
I think he went to the washroom afterwards to clean up.
Oh, like she fully like she made him clean it up. Oh,
no.
After,
like himself.
I hope so. I hope so.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was disgusting. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know where you grew up, man. This guy's living in places where people are just pooping on the ground or putting razor blades in candy bags. I don't know. Where do you say you were?
This is in London at the time.
Oh, London, man. Yo, London's a crazy city, though. Not to hate, but I'm hating. I'll tell you guys right now.
Spill the tea.
You remember that movie Project X?
The house party. Yeah,
crazy house party. So it was prom year, so everybody was trying to emulate Project X. Like, we had some crazy parties over here, but one of the largest fires I ever seen. Largest bonfire. People just tossing couches.
Oh my god!
But what happened in London that year is like the city. The kids actually flipped over like a CTV van or whatever, burned it down.
Oh, what the heck?
It's that's London, man. That's that's pretty. You know, I've had an embarrassing moment like that camera there. Not so bad that it was recorded.
An embarrassing moment where?
In grade 7 or 8.
Is it involving like pooping on the ground? Or?
No. Come on now.
Honestly, this could have been you. I don't know.
That, you know what, Dilshan? I also was taking that same class as you. No, in grade 7, I was in the wrestling team. And then I remember the grade 7 coach. So this is when he was trying to get everyone to join wrestling. So we had a lot of kids, boys and girls, everybody. And then now he was fond of me, so he's like, "Hey, Mohammed, can I demonstrate this with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then he flips me on my back, and he puts pressure on my stomach with his arm really hard. I wasn't expecting it. Man, I let out the loudest gas I ever let out in my life. First of all, it was loud, and it was extremely relieving. I felt like a whole new person.
Confused about how to feel in that moment.
No, everyone was laughing. I was geeking out too. I was geeking out loud, but inside I was like, "Oh no, no! This is how I start school."
It was it was so loud. You just feel the vibrations at that point.
Oh man,
I can smell you.
but Yeah. pretty much my reaction afterwards was just pretty much this.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave.
And
Excuse me, please.
Scooby-Doo.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
No.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. All right then.
This is too much of that.
Just give Muhammad a soundboard and he'll be busy for days.
Is it
Oh, yeah,
gone?
it's got it.
All right, it's gone. As you can tell, it's a work in progress, and we're still getting there.
I do I have another fart story as well. So fast forward a little bit to grade 6, 7, something like that, and my best friend this is when I the year I kind of met my best friend now. So he knows the story very well, but I'll tell it here anyways. So we were playing travel basketball. And mind you, travel basketball, but we're.
Oh, you can travel.
No, it's you travel around and play tournaments and stuff
travel basketball. Who the hell calls it travel basketball?
It's that's what people call it. That.
Travel basketball, recreation league, rec league.
Everyone's just calling it travel ball, but needless to say,
ball.
I was on the B team.
Yeah, that's rap. Yo, B team is sick, bro.
B team is please be on the bench for the entire season. No, we're trash, but we should not travel anywhere. But yeah, no, so we were doing warm ups at the beginning, and then we were doing I think push ups or something, and then there's one guy on our team who. No, F this, I don't want to do push-ups. So then he goes to the the side, the bleachers or whatever, starts doing sit-ups, and he just lets out so much gas.
Oh my god! Oh, this guy's trying to be all cool, and that's what he decides to do.
He's trying to be the lone wolf on the side.
Oh, this guy deserved it. I'm sorry, this guy deserved it. You don't go out there and leave the team to go do sit-ups.
Yeah, either way, none of us are really fit. There's maybe 2 people who are actually fit and able to do these warm-ups. Everyone sucked at it.
Yeah, man, grade 6, who could do push-ups?
Yeah, it might be grade 7. I don't know. I might have butchered this story, but yeah, that's the general idea of what happened. There was gas that was passed.
That is sad. Gas passing, it happens to everybody, but man, when it happens, it's embarrassing. But nothing beats the mayor. I'm sorry. Nothing beats a live recorded. I'm just glad that it was just gas and it wasn't you didn't hear any water.
You didn't hear him.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Honestly, you can't tell if that's working hard for dumps or just you're at a poetry slam. Because you're Oh, man.
Yo, speaking of poets and speaking of the last podcast, actually, where we had that was our first guest, and thank you to everybody that reached out.
Shout out Nigeria, Australia, US. Got some international listens on that one. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, I can see Nigeria.
Shout out Calvin.
But what?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, we're actually
that's pretty cool. Oh wait. How many from the U.S.?
I can't check it now because of the recording.
I can think of a couple.
It's doing pretty well, man. We thought before we were going to have 12 views, but we're out here, people are listening. And, whoever's listening right now, thanks so much for tuning in. And
to everybody that's been listening, man, this is for you. Thank you. And yeah, for the people that reached out, thank you guys for reaching out. We're going to try to figure something out. With the whole social isolation, really the bread and butter of the podcast is actually seeing your reactions, face to face. Because, it's hard to have a real conversation.
Yeah, even now, it's not the same as if I'm in the room, we're sipping on our coffee and just chilling on the couch, and there's some audio. Sometimes things can cut out sometimes, and
exactly. But you know what? I am laying on a bed, so I'm a lot more comfortable than normal.
I'm in my office chair, feet up.
Oh, don't fall. But yeah, that's That's pretty much it. So the with the whole social isolation, actually during March break, there's been a lot of board games. I don't know about
Playing board
you.
games?
Yeah. The family. It's just been a lot of Monopoly Deal. Anybody play who has a time? I highly recommend it.
I've only played it a couple of times,
Yeah,
but it was really fun when I did.
Yeah. Oh wait, did you play with me or at a different time?
I played with like my cousins a few times.
I remember. Yeah, it's nothing like Monopoly. Monopoly sucks.
Monopoly is like it's okay for a while, but then like it doesn't end. I don't know. I find like it's eventually you just like, all right, let's not play this anymore. I'm out. It's a SpongeBob meme. I'm out. Head out.
Yeah, especially when you're losing. It's just like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here for the next 12 hours, just continuously.
Or if you're
losing.
bankrupt, you're just like, what do you do?
You just hope to God you get out of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of my top board games. Monopoly Deal is really fun.
Yeah, but yeah, that's been pretty much it at this point. Trying to get back into school, it's kind of hard.
I've been trying really hard to get back into a routine here of like, we have class Monday morning 9 a.m. So I wake up in time for that and do the lectures upstairs on my TV. So I have like a sort of dual monitor setup going on. It works that day actually. It's pretty good. I'm trying not to pause too much because I find my issue with videos is I want to pause, rewind, and I do that too much. So I'm trying to just take the lecture in as it comes, and sometimes I'll pause it and rewind if it's like really important. But I'm trying to like minimize that as much as possible.
You're trying to treat like
I'm trying to treat everything as similar to what it was before as much as I can.
Yeah. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm treating it as though it's no different. And it's been pretty much the exact same.
Waste anyways, right?
These Monday mornings. But
you stop coming to class, eh?
I found it just more effective not to be honest. Like, go to the gym in the morning or watch those pre-weeks and whatnot. I don't know. It's way more. I just found like I was able to get what I need to get done effectively.
Whatever works, man.
Right? Whatever floats the boat.
As we say over here.
Yeah, that's why the ship. Oh, man. So, there was I did have a couple questions I wanted to ask you, Dilly.
So as we were like trying to prepare for this podcast, Mohammed is like, yo, I got some stuff to ask, but I'm not going to tell you yet. So this is going to be...
I think we kind of went through that already.
Never mind.
That was the story of
the mayor, eh?
Yeah. Don't set me up like this, man.
I'm trying to do what I can.
Oh man, let me set up a couple questions here and then go from here. But yeah, it's weird, man. It's hard when you're not. It's actually hard.
Exactly, it's not the. I don't know. It's not the same. Like just having someone in the room is everything's accessible. Like we can. I think we feed off of each other's like laughter and stuff and our jokes and something being in person. It's kind of interesting actually. This reminds me of our essay questions for Med, the social media one. I feel like we're kind of experiencing that a little bit right now. So the question was basically like, what are the benefits and drawbacks of social media in terms of like how we communicate, something like that. Yeah, I feel that though. Like I'm sure most of us wrote about like how you're losing out on some of those like in-person elements that you like facial expressions and like emotional cues and like nonverbal things. It's interesting to like experience that now in this context.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then the other aspect I bet you a lot of people also talked about, I know I did, is how misinformation could spread like crazy. And, there definitely is a lot, like right now especially, but it's hard. Like it's hard to even talk about it because I don't have the facts. I'm not an expert on this topic. Exactly. I can't really even talk about it. And a lot of information I have is probably misinformation.
It's weird. I feel like as med students, we're in this unique like in between phase where like we can kind of pick up on the fake news, but we don't necessarily know enough to give you the real news. So we're kind of just left to our own devices, and I don't know. And like when people ask us to, like, our relatives or friends who are like not in the healthcare field, they come to us like asking for advice, information, and there's an expectation that we know these things when we're only just beginning our training and just entering these conversations. At least speaking for myself, there's the people who are like extremely well versed and like it doesn't make sense that they're in first year, but like
aside from well versed, well spoken too. Aside from they know how to communicate what they want to say. Like even when they say I don't know, it sounds like a very reasonable response. Whereas when I say I don't know, it just sounds like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything.
Yeah, it hits differently.
But no, it's definitely tough, and it's like I don't know. I guess the way I tackle that, it's really hard to deal with the misinformation I don't know, or rather, information I don't know. I wouldn't say misinformation because at that point you don't know, right? It's more like I just focus on the key things. Okay, you know what? Stay at home. Or wash your hands if you feel like you're sick. Do this. Like there are recommendations. Those are things that can be followed pretty easily. And I try to shy away from the things like what actually caused it? Is this man-made? Is this? It's like, okay, that I don't know anything about this topic. I can't talk about that.
Especially at our level, we're not in a place where knowing that stuff is going to make a difference in how we interact with the world. Like, it makes a huge difference for people on the front lines, or like the researchers who are trying to like create the vaccines and stuff. They need to know where it comes from. But for me, either way, I'm still going to wash my hands. I'm still going to self-isolate. And that's what I'm going to tell people to do that.
Exactly. And, that's all you can really do. Afterwards, just wait up. Definitely can read on it, though.
Too, like, I feel like there's... Sorry to cut you off. I feel like we have that expectation now that we're in medicine, our foot's in the door. We should... At least I feel that pressure, like, oh, I have to like have a certain level of knowledge about this. Or like, I don't know if you feel that.
I do. I actually do. And not with this specifically, but I feel like I'm going to reach a point where I have to know certain things. And I have to be able to talk about it in a way that's actually beneficial. That makes sense. I can't kind of wish-wash say, oh yeah, I'm a med student. I'm just maybe true, maybe not. No, at some point, I feel like I have to have a competency. Whoa, that's a hard competency to say it, right? To say it with confidence, to say it, and have backup evidence for it, which is for me the most important part. Is can you provide evidence for what you're saying?
And that begs a question for me too, as something I think about a lot, and I'm curious about your thoughts on it as well. Like, so as you know, we all talk about, we're gonna be so busy in clerkship, we're gonna be so busy in residency or whatever. And I've heard two kind of schools of thought as to like our pre-clerkship years. So like our first 2 years in med school. On the one hand, should we be solely like trying to prepare for these like more difficult times ahead? Or should we enjoy the time that we have right now and do our thing and then dive in head first when the time comes?
So you're saying, let me see if I understood you correctly. You're saying that, you could grind out now so that you're better for the future? Or, I don't want to say it, but kind of like just get by now. Enjoy life now while you can before, you start to get so busy that
because I've heard people talk in both ways. Like I've heard people like, it's gonna be hard. Like that's why our curriculum now it's difficult. It's a lot of work and stuff. And I hear some people say like, it's only gonna get harder now. We should be like ready for this now. We should be trying to like work hard and be prepared for what it's gonna be like when we get to those later stages. But then you hear upper years, you hear other people who are like, no, you have these 2 years, and afterward it's going to be really, it's going to suck sometimes. So you should enjoy this time while you have it.
Yeah, it's going to get challenging. It's going to get busy. It's going to become a lot of work, and like that really can take a toll. And I don't want to have that sense of why is the word not coming to mind? Regret. Looking back that I missed on doing certain things. But at the same time, I also don't want to have regret that if I had studied, I would have been better where I am now, right? Because ultimately,
Yeah.
the best doctor.
It's a really tough balance, yeah.
But it's not just for medicine. It's literally every field. Every field has the same thing. During those like studying periods of time, you're studying to be the best X you're going to be, right? Chemistry. You're studying chemistry to be the best chemist you can be. You're studying this to be the best, whatever. Any other field, right? I personally highly, highly value mental health and doing, having experiences now because I think they make you a stronger person down the road, right? I think things like traveling, exercising, taking the time to do those things, or even just having fun, right? Spending time, they're all beneficial because you build relationships, which teaches you, one, how to talk to people, and two, how to build trust amongst people and understand yourself even more, right? Traveling and whatnot builds your experiences, it broadens your mindset, your horizons, it makes you understand the different backgrounds that people come from, right? It diversifies the way you think.
Yeah.
Right? And leads to less, makes you, I guess, a little less ignorant on matters because you're learning more, right? And those things that you do outside of studying are things that actually affect what you're going to be later on, right? As a doctor. And for good. So long as it's a balance, and I think it's the word balance.
It's like it's a balance between preparing for the future or living in the now.
And you know what?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like...
Sorry?
What?
I got
the audio. No, I was going to say, like, it's you have to do a bit of both.
Yeah. I agree. And it's like this, finances. Are you going to work and save all your money today so that you can enjoy it in your retirement? Or are you going to just spend all your money today? Well, it's neither or, right? There's that, put 1/3 towards savings, 1/3 towards this, and 1/3 towards that. Like, however you want to do it, it's exactly like that. Balance of the different aspects of your life that you're setting up. So you're going to study. Well, okay, you can study, but you also still have to have time for, this and this time. There's all like time for your own health. Time for exercise, time to hang out with people, time for yourself just to hang out and relax. Because mental health is huge, right? And just what's the point of life too, right? Like if you want to be a great doctor, but at the same time, you still want to enjoy life.
Our lives are not this career. Like this is one part of my life. Like one part of my identity will be like physician one day. Right now, a medical student, but also, I'm a son, I'm a friend, I'm a partner. I have many hobbies that all contribute to who I am, and this professional side is one part of that. And I don't want that to override everything and take away from everything.
And burnout is real, right? But, I had one of my closest friends. I really look back at him in high school, and I always looked at him like he was working too much. To be honest, like he was working too hard. All he did was study. All he did was study all the time. And you know what? He was getting excellent grades and whatnot. And then he ended up going to engineering. And with that, now he's honestly living the dream. Which is, for the longest time, I was saying the exact same, hey man, balance. But you know what? It all balanced out for him very well in the end, right? He's living where he wants to live, doing the job he wants to do, getting paid what he wants to get paid. Everything's now worked out for him. He did talk about regrets too back in the day. Like he wished he played more basketball in high school and whatnot. And it's tough. I would love to ask this question to him.
It's interesting too. Balance is a very difficult thing because they even try to teach us that in med school. Like they know this is an issue. They try to put it in all our curricula. Like I think even our most recent like reflection for portfolio was literally like, talk kind of about this stuff in a way, or at least I talked about that. But sort of like role conflict as well between the professional and personal. But it's hard to teach balance. It's hard to put that into a curriculum because it looks different for everybody. It like your friends. If you had took on your friend's lifestyle, then that would probably be really imbalanced for you. You would have had experienced it in a very different way than he did. His balance looks different than yours, and it would look different than mine. But it's tricky, man. It's hard too, because then how do you even ask people on like how to find balance? Like I've had people ask me too, like, oh, how do you cope with XYZ? Like how do you prevent burnout or whatever? Like it's hard for me to give you advice on that, because this might not work for you with like things that I do.
Exactly. For some people, I say, personally, I know myself, I just say bite the bullet and move on. But that doesn't work for some people. Or for some people, talk about it, but they don't want to talk about it. Like they can't, it doesn't work for them. That's not. So you're right. It's very difficult. But you know what? That got me curious. Hilshan, do you feel balanced?
By the way, your audio got a little bit quieter.
No, but no.
Yeah, you're good. Oh my god.
Say that again.
Yeah, do I feel balanced? I think yes and no. I think I say that because I think yes, in the sense that like I know what's important to me, and I am trying like actively to like invest in those things, like give energy to those things. So for me, that's this podcast as well. Music, poetry, my girlfriend, school is part of that as well. Research, my own personal mental health as well. So there's a bunch of things, and I feel like I've kind of over the years figured that out, and I'm trying my best to give energy. I say no because it's like life circumstances or school circumstances. It doesn't always allow you to give as much energy as each thing needs. I don't know if that makes sense. So like,
no, I totally understand. Actually, it's especially saying no bit. And I know what you get. No, it's honestly saying no. I don't know what it is. Like, it's like, what is it? Is it a pride thing? Is it like, no? Is it just because I know I can do it, or I should be able to do it, or whatever? Or is it you don't want people to feel bad, or you don't want people to think bad of you, or people think that?
And I think, sorry, I'll let you finish your thought and say my thing after.
Oh no, I fully finished.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, I do think saying no is the hardest thing too, because like I can't speak for everybody, but I think when you enter like the health profession, like we're in medicine now, I think some part of us wants to help people. I think that's part of all of our personalities to a certain degree. It's different for everybody, but that's a huge influence in why I wanted to come into this career, among other things. And it's frustrating when you can't help people. I've noticed that a lot in many aspects of my life. When I can't help somebody, especially someone that I care about, it is very difficult and it weighs on me.
No, that's really tough actually. And I don't know why I'm blanking right now.
Yeah, no, it's okay. We'll just
completely disappeared.
Shout out Kelvin.
Pretty much it, but shout out to Calvin. But then also there's a times where it's like you want to. When do you know when the no is necessary, or when do you know when the no is because you're being lazy?
Yeah, there's a lot of no's there, but I
see what I mean?
That. And you know, and if the no is no.
Right.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
No, God! Please, no!
I gotta turn that off.
No!
Oh god! No! Is that from The Office? Or?
No, but for real, sometimes like when do you know the no is the
proper
no?
no? Yeah. I feel like it takes a lot of self-awareness and reflection on like, do I have the capacity to take on this thing that I'm being asked? And being really honest with yourself. Like, if doing this thing is gonna take a huge toll on you, is it worth saying yes? Like, what are you getting out of it? Why do you want to say yes in the first place? It's not like, you think about those things and make a decision. It's going to be wrong sometimes, or you might feel regret sometimes, but I think taking care of you is always the number one.
Now, the thing is, like, it's there's times where you get an email and whatnot, and you have the time to think about it, But then a lot of times there's also, it's in the moment, in the spur of the moment. Hey, let's do X. Right. That you don't really have the time to think to say no.
That's true. That's true.
I find it gets really tough. Right? You don't. It's hard to really have that self-aware moment right on the fly. And I think though the concept of being aware of what you're interested in and aware of what makes you, feel happy or feel uncomfortable, etc.
Yeah. Another thing for me that I think about is like, who is the person that's asking this of me? Because, going through like whatever, like a competitive, reputable undergrad and then reputable med program and all this, like all these things, like a lot of people look to you for like advice and tips. And like, I've got a lot of messages from people who like, they don't make an effort to talk to me. They're not someone significant enough in my life where like I necessarily feel obliged to help them with something, like not obliged, but you know what I mean? Like I don't have that compulsion for some of these people. Like when you could tell they're just trying to use you or coming at you on some like disingenuous things, So for those people, even for those people, like back in undergrad, it was very, very hard for me to learn how to say no because it's my nature to like, if I can help, I want to, if I have the ability. But I think it's something I've been learning now. No,
it's, you've been saying no to me a lot, man. You've been good with that. You've been getting better.
No.
No. Hey, man, you want to do something? Nah. Hey, are you free for a call? No.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All right, I got
it's a very important word because I feel like there is a lot of unspoken pressure to say yes to things, especially like for us now. We're trying to, down the line we're going to be going into residency, and there is an element of like how you present yourself, the things you've done, like, and you got to build that portfolio for yourself.
Yeah, I can tell you just wrote your portfolio assignment recently.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
This will be a good primer for you to maybe get some ideas flowing.
And my title is going to be called "No Means No."
Yeah.
Okay. Saying no can be extremely, extremely relieving. And oh my god, it feels so good. But then sometimes you say no, and then you start thinking in your head. You start getting in your head, and you start thinking the thoughts. But then also, yes is a great word too. Saying yes is a fantastic word. Yes. Sometimes just yes, I'm willing to help out. Like there's COVID stuff going on. Yes, I'm willing to help out. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you don't want to, no. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like as long as as you know your limit, as you've been saying, and that definitely takes some maturity. But I don't think anyone.
I'm saying all this now. Like, at it. This is a very like ideal situation. I'm sure something's gonna happen soon where I'm gonna feel like I want to say no, but I say yes, or vice versa. It's tough.
Yeah. Sometimes there's also the word of sacrifice, where you just have to have sacrifice, right? Sometimes you gotta sacrifice things that you don't want to do just to to help somebody. That's it's a real challenge. Like it's never an easy answer when you can just say yes or no.
Yeah, and I think wow, look at us just dropping wisdom right now. Like,
bruh, I haven't been dropping wisdom. I've just been dropping crap.
No, you too, man. It's like
real wisdom, though.
I didn't know the episode was going to go this way, but I'm liking it. Shout out to Kelvin.
Actually, I love the question, by the way. That was great. Okay. I have a question for you.
Okay.
It's going to be a little off topic, very different. Dilshan, have you ever cried during a movie?
During a movie? I definitely have. Okay, so for background about crying stuff for me in general. So growing up, I was a very sensitive boy. What?
Very sensitive boy.
Oh, sorry, it cut out for a second. Shout out to long distance. Yeah, growing up, I was a very sensitive boy. I cried a lot for like the little things. And then in 2013, my grandpa passed away. And I think that was a big moment for me because it kind of put everything into perspective. And like, you know, I was trying to be strong for my family in that time when everybody was upset and the emotions were high. I suppressed a lot of that in front of them. And I think that's sort of like the beginnings of where I think I developed a little bit more of emotional like resilience in that way. And from that point on, like I didn't really cry too much for things. Like it got to a point I was a little worried about myself for a little bit there. I was like, can someone please send me some like sad stuff so I can like cry to it, you know? And not cold, but like,
were you feeling cold?
I feel like there's some things like, I was like, how come I didn't cry for this, or how come I am able to be okay in this particular situation? And like in hindsight, you know, there's nothing wrong with how I was back then. It's just it was very different from what I was used to. So I was like, I changed here. Why am I not responding the same way I used to? Yeah. So anyways, all that to say, like, I was looking for stuff to make me cry for a while in terms of like movies and TV. And it didn't happen for a while, and then I started watching This Is Us. Have you heard of that? Have you seen the show?
This Is Us?
Heard of it?
No, actually never.
Yeah.
No, This Is Us. Check it out. This is.
It's a very, very touching and emotional show, but in a very real way. Like, it's not corny. Like you watch this and it's like, okay, I could totally like I empathize with everybody here. And there's one episode, I'm not going to say what the scene was because it'll spoil, but there's one scene that it just got to me and I shed a tear. And I was like, oh, there it is. I am okay. I'm not broken. Yeah.
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah. So that was my, like, literally, and that was maybe a few years ago. So like, there's a period of several years between 2013 and that time where I just did not cry for anything, ever.
Dang.
Yeah.
That was, I guess This Is Us. You know what? Dilshan, actually, when you're talking about that, I don't think it's wrong necessarily to not be a person that doesn't really shed a tear. There's a difference between suppressing it, I find, and just naturally not feeling it. That makes sense. Like, there's, of course, growing up as a little guy, don't cry, all these things. But I don't know. I just generally found myself not really being much of a crier generally. And it's not trying to be a man or manliness or whatever. It's just, I don't know. I just never found that's my way of relieving my emotions. If that makes sense.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. I felt like it was wrong at the time for me because I was worried that I was maybe too apathetic, but in hindsight, I think it was completely fine. I was responding normally. I think I just experienced an emotional growth spurt after my grandpa passed. That's okay.
Yeah. Which I'm very sorry to hear that, man. Were you really close with your grandpa?
I remember always like playing chess with him when we were growing up. When I was growing up, he'd been grown. Yeah, we always used to play chess together and like
when you guys were playing B-League together, you know.
Oh my god.
Slide with the ranks, doing cops.
We played chess. Whenever there's like, you know, family gossip, everybody has family stuff, and like when you're a kid, your parents don't want you to be too privy to that. But my grandpa would always like throw me a bone and like be straight with me about things. So I like that a lot. Yeah, I think I was pretty close to them for the most part. And then another thing, I feel like I'm talking too much in this episode, but
no, absolutely not. This is
in terms of
very normal.
Like when he did pass, I think one thing that I really, besides the emotional resilience piece, like something that I really took away from it was the importance of telling people that you love them, because like before that I was very like awkward and weird about saying I love you to people, or like telling them, you know what, you mean something to me and I care about you and I love you. I was very, very awkward with that. And then when my grandpa passed away and I didn't tell him before he passed, and that guilt lived with me for a long time. Like since then, I've taken active steps to like cope with that and come to terms with it. But it's ever since then, I'm with anyone really, like I'm not afraid to tell them I love them or to tell them I care. Like even with my parents now, like when we're off the phone or texting, I'll text like I love you. When I'm hanging up the phone with somebody, I'll say I love you. Me and my partner, we say it multiple times a day, every day. Like, but
I see nothing but hearts and stars, and I'm so confused.
no, we use a lot of those
stars.
A lot of emojis, but yeah. But I think it's so important because you just never know, and you want people to know that how you feel about them. I think it's very important.
No, man, I'm glad you were able to cope with that, or at least like evolve from it. No, you're definitely someone that seemed emotionally there. That's one thing that I've always noticed about you. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Which makes it easy to talk to you.
Yeah, that's something I really hope to carry with me, like, for this like medicine stuff as well. Like, there's everything in my life really, but like, I really do want to be like a caring and emotionally invested doctor when the time comes. And I hope I don't lose that through training, because it does happen. People
absolutely.
lose
that. Yeah. I find it hard though, personally. Like, how I said I'm not much of a crier per se. Like, I don't know. I find it sometimes challenging, to be honest. Like, I don't feel it. Or I don't feel the need to, but I feel like I should show it. I think this was another purple. But like, like, I don't know. I can't fake it, and I'm not going to fake it. But I feel wrong not to show it.
Yeah,
we have a similar kind of thing actually in Sydney's culture. Back home, and a family member passes away, you hear, people come to the house or to the place of a gathering, really, to give their wishes and pay their respect for the person that passed away. But the women oftentimes come in and they cry right on the spot. They cry to the family members as they pay their respects. Like, it's a really loud wailing crying that it comes on demand, right? Some are genuine, but some are it's just in the moment they need to show that. And I don't know. I personally find that very disingenuous, but at the same time, I totally understand. Like, I get why they're doing it, and I understand the reasoning for it. But to me, with my lens and like the way I view the world, I just find that hard. Like, I don't want to be doing that, because then I feel like sort of mocking the situation if I'm not giving my real thought to it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Like, it's so interesting looking at how different cultures respond to these things. It's like your like Sudanese background, my Sri Lankan background. I'm sure every country has their own thing about what's socially acceptable versus what's not. I think for me, just got to do you. That's just how I approach the world, or how I try to, at least. There's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with not crying. It's different strokes for different folks.
And different folks for different strokes.
Exactly, man.
Actually, getting back to the OG question.
Yeah.
Right. Have you ever cried in a movie?
This Is Us.
You cried in a TV show called The Last of Us? This Is Us. This Is Us. The Last of Us is a video game.
Have yet to cry in a video game.
Okay.
But I do cry. I do cry more now in general. Not necessarily in a bad way. It's. I think, I don't want to get into too much of that right now, but like, I think being in a healthy relationship with my partner, that she's helped me really open up about, or like gave me a safe place for me to openly express emotions, and it's very, I think there's something very healing about like crying together with somebody.
Yeah. It's just, it may not even just the aspect of crying with somebody, but the fact that someone can be there at the same wavelength as you and understand what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And seeing your weakness
It's
with you. Not that like crying is a weakness, but the thing behind it.
Yeah, vulnerability.
The thing that's caused
the word, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's exactly.
Better word.
I think like it's nice having a place where you don't have. It's like when you're holding your breath for so long and you can finally just like just let it out in that space.
Yeah,
I think it's so important to have like friends like that or family or somebody in your life like that, because otherwise, if you're all bottled up all the time, you know, it's probably not healthy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So with that, actually going back to the original question again.
Tell me more.
I cried in a movie myself. The first movie I ever cried. I can count a total of tears I've ever cried in a movie was 3. 2 actually. 2. I'll give you the first one was probably the dumbest thing I ever watched, but looking back on it, I think I was about 8 years old.
Yeah.
It was 2 a.m. First time I ever really stayed up that late. I opened up the BET channel.
Yeah.
So back in the day, they used to have 106 in Park and just music, right? Good music. But no, I was in the middle of the night and I see this movie about a guy. It was called Prison Song, I think. And I looked up the Metacritic. I think its rating on Metacritic is like stupidly low. Man, I was so confused. There was a guy, and he was essentially having a little fight with Fat Joe. And then the guy pushed Fat Joe over into just pushed him, but he didn't mean to push him over onto the subway platform. Fell down, got electrocuted, and died.
Dang.
So this person went to jail. I think it was for life or something. Apparently he was a poet and stuff. I don't remember all those little details. I just remember at the very end of the movie, they planned an escape. And the escape was working. And at the very end, everyone was making it out.
Oh.
The main character got shot and died on the way out. And this is the first time I've ever experienced such a flip like that in the story. I was heartbroken, man. I let it all out. I let it out. Oh man.
Yeah.
I was like, this was too much.
Like teardrops, or was it like you're bawling?
Oh, it was bawling, bro. But the saddest thing, I'll say that the saddest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it's an anime movie or pretty much Japanese animation. It's not like those Dragon Ball or whatever. No, it's beautifully animated. Think Spirited Away and all those about a boy. You just pretty much watch a boy's life that's been greatly affected by World War II. And it was a Japanese boy. And then you just follow his story. But because I'm not spoiling anything, the very first thing you see is this boy in a train station wasting away, and he died. He was just begging for food. That's the very first thing you see. And then immediately you start off with this boy and his little sister and follow their adventures. And it was the saddest thing I've ever seen, but I highly recommend it. It's a very interesting take. It's beautifully animated. The story is phenomenal, and that was the one I held back in, and I'm not gonna tell you where because I would spoil the movie. That
also reminded me of. Have you seen The Boy in the Striped Pajamas? It's basically like Holocaust.
I've heard the name. What is that?
There's a little boy who's in the concentration camp, and then there's another little boy, like a German boy, who is kind of they became friends, and the movie's kind of like following their friendship because they're like two different worlds, right, separated by the fence, but they're still like kind of talking, playing with each other, and then one day that one little boy did. I don't want to spoil it, but it was very sad.
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
I think you already said the story right there.
This movie's been out for.
This guy's 63% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, I could say it. Come on.
It's a 2008 movie.
I mean, you could tell. Like, I think every Holocaust movie is gonna have like that element.
No, that's actually
that one. I didn't cry, but I had
that's so sad. That's so painful
reaction to it.
That's wrong. Splanknick.
Oh man,
we gotta stop. This is getting too deep, too dark. You know what? Let me end it how we started, with a little bit of laughs, right? Because can't end off on this dark mood. So let's start it the way let's end it the way we started it with a little bit of gaffs over here.
It's quiet right now.
Oh no! All right, well, technical difficulties. We'll ignore that for now. Anyways, so I guess in the future we will try to get some guests any way we can. You know, the quarantine situation can be, or at least I don't even like saying social distancing. I've seen on the news now say physical distancing. This physical distancing thing's been
that's a good point too. Like, it's
really pushed for a long time now,
or it shouldn't be. It's physical distance. We should be trying to maintain some element of socialization with that, you know, like the technology and what have you.
Right. Yep. Keep in touch. Don't call your mom. Yeah, cut that out.
Call your loved ones.
Call your loved ones.
FaceTime your friends. You know, even listen to this podcast if you want to hang out with us.
No, that's a must. That's not social. Like that's just a must. You have to do that. You're in it. You're in the ocean with us. We're already there. We're already sailing. And Doom came out a couple days ago, so you know, social isolation going on, or physical distancing.
I haven't played.
Yo, the new Doom game is sick.
Whenever I get back to Toronto, we'll run it,
bruh. Absolutely. Alrighty. So, guys, thank you all for listening to this very
I think so.
deep podcast. Actually, it's a lot deeper than we usually do.
It just flowed that way, right?
Exactly. And I just want to end it off with
this is our first
this works
over the phone podcast. So please bear with us as we try to iron out the kinks and get the ball rolling. But we want to make sure that we're being consistent with this, especially during this time where we're all separated from each other. You know?
Yeah. You hear this? That's Shoot the Ship podcast. Playing our horns. Goodbye.
So overpowering.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Who gave you a soundboard, man?